You are joining our new.
Hey, we're back. No, not because we got the Wi-Fi fixed in the studio, but because I'm using the Wi-Fi off my phone. But we were we were prisoner to no Wi-Fi the other couple of days, so we're gonna coming back here with a story to top the show today. I suggest a notebook and a piece of paper, which I'll say again when we actually go live. Because you're going to have to keep track of some headlines here, like connect the dots on the dysfunction in the Franklin County courts and the specifically juvenile division putting the lives of police officers and citizens in danger. So again, a pen and paper to connect all these dots, and of course an inane opinion from our mayor. So that's what we have coming as soon as this commercial ends and as soon as we play the intro music, which is happening right now. So thanks for joining us, and here we go. It might be a good idea for you to grab a blank piece of paper, maybe two, and a pen, a reliable writing instrument, because we are going to play a game of Connect the Dots today on the Bruce Hooley Show regarding the Franklin County supposed justice system. We have a confluence of headlines here and a soundbite from our completely inept and feckless and stupid mayor that I think you can only stay abreast of if you write it all down and maybe do one of those Venn diagrams that Kamala Harris likes so much, because these are Democratic policies. This is a city run by Democrats, right? I mean, our entire city council, all the commissioners, the mayor, the law director, the prosecutor, everybody's a Democrat, right? So Venn diagram it if you want to. But here we go, okay? A multiplicity of headlines, all adding up to the fact that you as a citizen are not safe, and you as a police officer are not safe. And the reason why you are not safe is because the people who are charged with keeping you safe, other than the police, I'm absolving them because they're doing their job. But unfortunately, they can only arrest people. They can't try people. That's Shayla Favor's job as prosecutor. And they can't convict people. That's the job of judges. So the cops are limited, all right? They're very limited. And remember, if they ever pull out their weapon to defend themselves in a shootout, they're quite likely to be brought up on charges for doing so. So here we go. Headline number one, just to show you that all the headlines about, oh, crime is down in Columbus and we're doing a fantastic job and murders are down. Blah, 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 blah. Do we still have a juvenile crime problem in the city? Well, let's start off with this. A 15-year-old boy, 15, faces murder charges after a shooting on Columbus's South Side on the 3 a.m.-ish time slot of yesterday morning. So a little more than 24 hours ago. This 15-year-old shot and killed a 19-year-old. He's theoretically an adult, but not very much. Brain not fully developed. Neither one of them, because neither one's 25. Okay, so there's headline number one. We'll come back. That's a kind of an umbrella over everything, that crime remains a problem in the city of Columbus. So much so that Columbus City Council member Melissa Green has a tale of woe to tell. She says she was buckling her 4-year-old son into his car seat in the Hilltop Walgreens parking lot at Hague Avenue and Broad Street when a man pulled up in a car, got out with a gun, started waving it around, screaming and yelling. City Council member Melissa Green was understandably, her motherly instincts kicked in. She said, I jumped in my car, laid on top of my son, and I prayed this was the day that I would not be another headline. Wait a minute, I thought crime was down. Another headline? What do you mean? There are no headlines about crime, Melissa. Another headline on the news about a shooting on the Hilltop. Oh, so she's saying in the Hilltop. It's like the Wild West. Remember yesterday I read you the letter to the editor of the Columbus Dispatch from the woman in Linden who said, my neighborhood is unsafe. My daughter has to be escorted to school by her dad, probably one of the only 2 or 3 dads in Linden, actually living with his wife and protecting his kids. But we don't dare refer to that problem in the city. No. We'll rather spend $100 million on a bike path. Now, Green said this happened to her a little over a week ago. Let's say almost 2 weeks ago on April the 17th. Has she reported it to police yet? Later on in the story, much later on in the story, Green said she hasn't yet made a police report, but said she intends to. How are the police supposed to stop crime? How are the citizens? How many people live in the Hilltop and go to that Walgreens? Do you think they'd like to know that there's a crazy person pulling up with a gun, waving it around, threatening Melissa Green and her 4-year-old son? I would like to know that if I lived in that neighborhood. She's keeping it a secret for 2 weeks. Okay. Is there anything else I need to tell you about that? No, I have so much more. Oh yeah, here. Remember, felony assault cases are down 24% and homicides are down 48%. Really? Well, why does Melissa Green tell Jordan Laird of the Dispatch, something like this can happen to anyone in any neighborhood? Yeah, it can. And do you know why? Do you know why it can? Because now we're getting into the really juicy stuff, okay? You keeping track? You writing all this down? I can't fit this all in to the final 5 minutes I have in this segment. So we're just getting started, all right? Yesterday, a Columbus teenager, Tamari Stroder, was 17 years old when he robbed a woman at her Columbus apartment complex last July and stole her gun. Tamari has been a busy young man since then. A month later, police say, he pointed the gun at another victim during a robbery. So we got an armed robbery in July from young Tamari, 17 at the time, juvenile. We have another armed robbery in August, young Tamari. What was he in court for yesterday? Well, he was in court yesterday because they have finally determined that they are going to try him as an adult and hold him accountable for his actions. You say, gee, why didn't that happen before now? Great question. Get your pencil ready. We're going to connect the dots. Young Tamari in July didn't just rob a woman. The woman was his former girlfriend, who, in order to take refuge from Tamari, had to jump out of a second-story window. When officers, it's according to the WSYX website, when officers spotted the suspect, they were called to the scene because, this guy's threatening to kill his girlfriend, showing up at her apartment, and she's worried enough she has to jump out of a second-story window. When officers spotted her, they say he opened fire at them. This is last July, okay? This is last July. He fired at officers. How many officers, Bruce? 4. 4, including a set of brothers. Tamari is not the greatest shot in the world, but he's a good enough shot to fire through the windshield of their cruisers. You say, well, he's been cooling his heels since then. No, remember, this happened in July. He was out and did another armed robbery in August after shooting at officers in July. Seems like the system failed. Yes. Got your pencil ready? Take notes. Stroder could be tried as an adult on the August robbery case alone. You mean threatening your girlfriend's life in July and forcing her to jump out of a second-story window is not bad enough to get you tried as an adult? Not in Columbus, Ohio. This is where I flash back. Take notes. Remember years ago, years and years and years ago, when we first started to hear about the Kia boys and the juvenile criminals in Columbus stealing Hyundais and Kias. And Columbus police came up with a plan to stop it. And if you've listened to this show for a long time, you're like, yeah, you've talked about this before. Operation Game Over. Yeah. And you remember how that was met? What kind of reception that got from the juvenile court justices in Columbus? Justices. They protested a police initiative to end juvenile crime, to end juvenile car thefts, which ballooned to, in a calendar year, somewhere in the vicinity of 10,000 in Columbus, Ohio, because the juvenile judges said, if you put kids in jail for stealing cars, they might learn how to become criminals. They might learn how, because, stealing cars doesn't indicate that they have any real aptitude to be a criminal. Okay. And the juvenile court judges said, of course, that since the overwhelming majority of these juveniles in the Kia boys were black, to put them in jail would also be, you know, fill in the blank, of course, racist. Okay. So now we're back to Tamari Stroder, the guy who showed up, threatened to kill his girlfriend, forced her to jump out a window. That's one armed robbery, stole a gun, committed another armed robbery in August. Why is he not in custody when he's shooting at these officers? Because the warrant for his arrest was, quote unquote, set aside by juvenile court magistrate Chris Strayfelt. This according to WSYX's website. Get this. The set-aside order was not signed. I'm reading right from the website. The set-aside order was not signed by anyone from the prosecutor's office. So they didn't tell the prosecutor they were going to release the kid. The line on the document designated for the prosecutor's signature was blank. What is procedure in these cases? Procedures listed on the juvenile court's website state that the court is to examine a warrant with a prosecutor and a defense attorney when considering lifting an arrest warrant. Did this happen? No, it did not happen. Now, one more flashback. Your timeline's getting a little jumbled now, isn't it? Yes. It was April the 15th when I came on and led with a story about Franklin County Prosecutor Shayla Favor saying, I have been quite disturbed by some of the cases that have come about as of recently. It's important for me that this community knows this isn't someone looking to lock folks up. No, we're not. The prosecutor says she's not looking to lock folks up. So Tamari, maybe he'll get out soon and maybe he'll be shooting at you.
Today, passing shower by afternoon. High today 74. Partly cloudy, mild tonight. A thunderstorm late, low 60. Sunny clouds, shower and heavy thunderstorm for tomorrow. Breezy one day. That thunderstorm could bring some downpours. Hail and dancing wind. High 81. Variable cloudiness. Couple of brief showers Friday. High Friday at 73. Cloudy for work. Couple of showers for Saturday. High Saturday afternoon at 62. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Has the recent storms impacted your house? The Metal Roof Company not only specializes in working with your insurance company, but also specializes in all trades on the outside of your home. Roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, windows, and in some cases, we can install a metal roof for the same price as a shingle roof. So remember, folks, don't settle, buy metal. Call 614-721-ROOF or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
Do you want to feel younger, stronger, and full of life? At HealthSpan Clinics in Columbus, Ohio, their same-day stem cell therapy uses your cells to fight against aging naturally. With their Time Machine 3.0, you're in and out in one visit. Recharge for vitality. Minimal downtime, maximum results. Learn more at health-span-clinics.com. Your healthier future starts now. HealthSpan Clinics. Live long, live well.
Bad decisions limit future options. Making enough bad decisions indeed will destroy your life. Listen to The Flot Line with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning at 8 here on 98.9 FM The Answer. The Flot Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flot Line with Rick Hughes. Sunday mornings at 8, right here on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
This is Josh Pick with the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show. The thing that I hear most often in meetings is, what do I do when it seems like stocks and bonds are getting crushed? Rates at the bank are abysmal, and inflation is at 40-year highs. Well, you're not alone, and there are better options. Did you know that you can lock in darn near double-digit returns in a positive market while simultaneously accepting zero downside risk? Learn more about ideas like this and many other ways to improve your financial situation by listening to the Aptus Retirement Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free, 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Zumo Play.
A
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Discount Shopping Club, 989theanswer.com affords you all kinds of great opportunities, as does any trip to 989theanswer.com. We've got cruises on there. We should have asked Larry Elder on Friday about the Patriots Alaska cruise that he's going to be going on with Mike Gallagher, I believe. Gallagher's going to sing. I heard him talking about it the other day with Larry. That's a 7-day journey in Alaska, departs from Seattle, Washington on August the 16th. And they've got the whole itinerary here laid out for me. You're going to British Columbia, Ketchikan, Sitka, Alaska. Looks like a great, great time. If you had a good time with Larry on Friday night, I mean, a crowd of 300 people, you probably didn't get much of a word with Larry because he had to get on a plane and fly back to LA. But if you want to spend time with Larry and Mike Gallagher, and a lot of you got to meet Mike at the Lazy Chameleon on one of our previous station events, well, that would be a great thing to do. So you can go to 989theanswer.com and look for the Salem Patriots Alaska Cruise logo and book your passage today. Sorry to make you work so hard in that first segment where you were taking down the details of the tale of woe from Franklin County Juvenile Court. And Tamari Stroder, who's no longer viewed as a juvenile, he will be tried as an adult. He is being held on a bond of $2.1 million. It took him a while to classify Tamari as an adult. He robbed a woman and stole her gun. He ran from police after that incident in, just recapping here, make sure you got all your notes right. That was in July of last year. Stole a gun from a woman at gunpoint. So he got 2 guns. Ran away from police. Then they put him in juvenile detention, but his arrest warrant got waived. He got let out. He robbed another person in August, and then he was back in, and then in October, they let him out again. And then in January, he went to kill his girlfriend. She jumped out a second-story window. He fired at 4 officers, and procedures were not followed to keep him in custody. And there seems to be a failure to communicate, shall we say, between the juvenile court and the prosecutor's office. Let me just read you straight off a story from March 18th. Yeah, I did a little research on this. Now, remember, I ended the last segment by reading to you something that Franklin County Prosecutor Shayla Faber said 2 weeks ago on April 15th. April 15th. So a month before this, when Shayla Faber said, I'll refresh your memory, on April the 15th, I have been quite disturbed by some of the cases that have come about as of recently. It's important for me that this community knows that this isn't, meaning her, I'm not someone looking to lock folks up. No, we're not. Well, maybe that's why one side is not talking to the other when it comes to the release of a dangerous criminal. A spokesperson for Shayla Faber, her name is Naya Hairston, told Lisa Rantala of ABC6 that our prosecutors were not aware at the time that Tamari Stroder's arrest warrant had been set aside. They found out shortly thereafter that there was a hearing scheduled, but he did not show up. And I guess there's no urgency to go find him. because he's not deemed dangerous enough until he finally actually shoots someone and kills someone. Remember, first headline of the day was we had a 15-year-old now charged with murder because he shot a 19-year-old. You would think that our esteemed Mayor, Andrew Ginther, who periodically voices his outrage at the criminal offenses committed by juveniles and adults and people in neighborhoods that Andrew Ginther has done nothing to improve, like the Hilltop, the Near East Side, and Franklinton and Linden. You would think that Andrew would have his normal, customary, stupid solution to this problem, and I will not disappoint you, because here is the mayor who, again, to recap another headline that I've dealt with already, is here talking about his solution to the fact that a Columbus City Council woman, forget her first, Melissa Green, was at the Walgreens on Broad Street and Hague Avenue when a man drove up in a car waving a gun around, and she had to dive on top of her son because she was afraid the nutcase was going to shoot at her. She later figured out that he was just yelling at another group of people, and she was being used as a human shield. Reflecting on all that, here is Mayor Andrew Ginther's solution to the problem.
I'd ban assault weapons.
Oh.
I'd have universal background checks. I'd have red flag laws to make sure that guns don't end up in the hands of folks who have committed violence against intimate partners and others in the community. I would repeal the concealed carry permit, the permitless carry, stand your ground. These are all things that put our officers at risk, let alone kids and families. We know what we need to do.
No, you don't.
And the statistics and all the evidence, it's not my opinion. Go take a look at any public health journal, research. Look at where the highest incidents of gun violence are taking place in America. And most of them are in states that have the most dangerous and reckless gun policy.
That is not true at all. That is not remotely true. That is not even in the same hemisphere or the same universe as the truth. Who has the most stringent gun laws in the country? New York State, California. Who has the highest crime rates in the country? Chicago, Illinois. Do you feel safe in Chicago? You feel safe in New York City? You feel safe in LA? You feel safe in San Francisco? That is it's on brand. It's an inane comment from Andrew Ginther. I've dealt with these things before. Remember, we had the guy who, it's not just juvenile court either. We had the guy, I can't remember his name because his name's not worth remembering, but his story is demonstrative of how bad the justice system is, not just in juvenile court, but in common pleas court. Judge Michael Holbrook released a guy who had already threatened the life of a girlfriend, beaten her in Northeast Ohio. He let her out. Now, I'm really disappointed in you if you do this again. And he did it again, and he killed his different girlfriend, who was pregnant. Then I guess Judge Holbrook got disappointed enough that he decided to not let him out on bail. Now, against the backdrop of all this, I promise your assignment will end. Guess what? People are trying to gather signatures to put on the ballot this fall. A proposed constitutional amendment to end qualified immunity can go forward in an attempt to collect enough signatures to get it on the Ohio ballot. What is qualified immunity, you say? Qualified immunity is given to police officers in the performance of their job so that they cannot be sued for doing their job. And who is leading the charge on this? It is the aunt, Cynthia Brown, of 30-year-old Kareem Ali Nadir Jones. Because she says Kareem was unjustifiably shot and killed by Columbus police. This happened in 2018. However, neither police officer was indicted because their body cam video shows Kareem failing to comply with their orders to lay on the ground after they spotted him with a gun in his waistband. And so Kareem was backing away, and then he ran away, and then he reached for his gun in his waistband, and the officers shot him and killed him, which they probably were not trying to do. But when somebody has a gun, no, you shoot center mass. And Kareem is now supposed to be like another Michael Brown, another Jacob Blake, another George Floyd. Actually, Kareem is, because his case is as phonied up as those other ones, which demonize police simply for doing their job.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump is touting what he calls the most successful first 100 days of any administration in history. He held a rally last evening in Michigan, saying that he's ushered in the most secure border in American history. He also says that prices for a lot of things are coming down. The U.S. economy contracted in the first quarter of the year. The GDP shrank for the first time in several years, contracting 0.3%, January through March. The Catholic Church in Oklahoma wants taxpayers to fund an online charter school. The Supreme Court hearing arguments today in that case. There's been a deadly scaffolding collapse at a construction site in Port Arthur, Texas. 3 workers were killed and 2 others were injured in that accident. Watching Wall Street, the Dow down 286 points. The NASDAQ is off 251. More details at srnnews.com.
Sleep Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy. And unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-989-1771. 800-989-1771. 800-989-1771.
He's one of the top 10 radio hosts in the country. He never varnishes his opinions. And now more than ever, you need to spend part of your day with a healthy dose of the Mike Gallagher Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. As Executive Director of Turning Point USA, a national radio host, podcaster, husband, and father of 2, my schedule is about as crazy as it can possibly get. 2 years ago, I made the decision to take control of my health, and I chose PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition because I needed a plan that fit my hectic lifestyle. I travel a lot and my schedule changes every week, so I need something simple. They customized a plan for my body and my schedule, and I quickly lost 30 pounds. Now I have the energy and focus to get through my busy day. PhD will help you too. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call, schedule a weight loss consultation, and see if their program is right for you. Call 855-696-2020. That's 855-696-2020. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It worked for me, and it can work for you. myphdweightloss.com.
Larry Oda here. Do not miss my new movie called Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Are EVs really better for the planet than gas-powered vehicles?
Torque is instantaneous. The batteries are lasting very long.
Sitting in the parking lot just burst into flame. You're going to be relying on time.
It's not just a movie about cars. It's about how we choose to shape our future. Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Produced by Impactful Pictures. Watch it or buy the DVD now at salemnow.com.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, tune in, or iHeart.
Shout out to Walt, to Jerry, to Priscilla, to some of the people who I've spoken with recently about flooring remodels in their home. We love doing it. It's what I do when I'm not engaged here, get away from the headlines, and more importantly, get a chance to meet you, save you money. I think I saved Jerry like $1,000 on what he was quoted, and he was quoted a price that, better hurry, 40% off, ends today. Yeah, no. There'll be none of that pressure from me. I just would like to come. I'd like to meet you. I'd like to measure your space, and I'd like to get to know you, because the way you get to know about my flooring endeavors is by listening to the Bruce Hooley Show. So go to brucehooley.com and click flooring, and then you'll be able to put in your information. I'll reach out to you. I'll leave you a voicemail. I'll text you, whatever's easiest for you. We can do commercial spaces. We can do residential, do carpet. We can do luxury vinyl plank flooring, which is a phenomenal product. It's an eternal product, really. It'll never, ever fail you. We'll save you money. We'll get it in sooner. Check it out, brucehooley.com, click flooring. So I attended a wonderful event last night. It's the second one of these that I've attended in last week. LifeWise Academy, updating situation in Hilliard, situation in the Jonathan Alder School District. So I got home a little bit late. I typically watch Special Report with Brett Baer. If I can, I watch it on delay so I don't have to watch commercials telling me to buy gold and, subscribe to this or that. But I finally got home about 8:30. I sat down and watched Brett Baer. And I wonder if the people from Special Report are bothered or happy or what. They plan a program all day long, okay? I assume. And then Trump comes out in Michigan, and they throw to Trump about 2 minutes into Special Report. And Trump talks for the entire rest of the time. Now, before we get to the topics that Trump talked about, before we get to something else that I found last night on my DVR, which was an incredibly contentious, I'm not even going to call it an interview. It was an attempted gotcha by Terry Moran of ABC News, who he's like Carlos Santana. He went like 0 for 24 in the interview with Trump. Okay. But I'm watching this and Baer like never gets back on other than to say, okay, on to Laura Ingraham. And Ingram's like, here's Trump. Trump's talking. Before we get to what Trump's talking about, can you imagine Joe Biden having the energy to do that off the cuff? I know Trump's got a prompter, but he's all over the place. That's why he takes so long, because he doesn't hit the prompter. The man has incredible energy and can think on his feet. Now it'll become apparent as I play audio from the Terry Moran exchanges. But here's Trump. This kind of a comment that encapsulates the theme of his extended remarks last night in Michigan.
We've accomplished more in 3 months than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or even 8 years, and we're just getting started. Believe me, we're just getting started. Okay, there we go. Just getting started, and he was just getting started. Now, of course, Trump has ended the flood of illegal immigration into our country. He has restored domestic energy production. He has struck a blow against DEI. He has a lot of woke universities on the run. He's outlawed puberty blockers in 100 days. Oh, yeah, but he tariffs. Okay. Could we give the man a couple months to see if he's right about tariffs? All the conservative economists are about tariffs. Now, today, the GDP numbers are out, and the Democrats, they're very, very happy to see GDP, gross domestic product, is down 0.3 tenths of 1%. So 0.3 of 1%. It's down 0.3. I heard forecasts from the Fed, which is supposed to be, neutral. Wink, wink, Jerome Powell, that the GDP was going to be down 2-point-something%. Now, if it had been down 2-point-something%, that would have been catastrophic. The markets would have tumbled. It's down 0.3%. I'm not even sure that's Trump. Like, these things lag, they take time, can't fix an economy overnight. But Trump is trying something. I'm not necessarily sure I agree with it, but let's just see. But anyway, 100 days, I'm very happy. 100 days, I'm very happy. I'm willing to give him 100 more to see where the tariffs go. A little bit different story on the Democratic side of the aisle. Here's Chuck Schumer. How have the last 100 days been for you, Chucky?
These 100 days have been 100 days from hell. Donald Trump is not governing like a president of a democratic republic. He's acting like a king, a despot, a wannabe dictator.
Really? I haven't heard him say anything about, the Supreme Court tried to stop me from doing this, but I just ignored it and went ahead and did it anyway. No, that was your guy. That was Joe Biden. Or, whoever was pulling the puppet strings. Now, Trump also made a stop prior to this county outside Detroit where he had this very long rally where people greeted him to stage by cheering and chanting USA, USA, USA. But as I said, I saw this exclusive interview with Trump on ABC. Why is he sitting down with ABC? And I flipped over and Terry Moran, he's like going at Trump, making all these accusations, and Trump is more than holding his own. But I mean, I'm just sitting there, I'm thinking, why do you reward these idiots? Like, why don't you sit down with somebody like Brett Baer? Why don't you sit down with, I don't know, somebody else? Why don't you sit down with a podcaster? Why go on Joe Rogan again, for all I go? Why give oxygen to ABC, CBS, or NBC? And then I figured it out. It's because he likes it. Trump likes it. He likes the fight. He likes making the networks look stupid. He likes exposing their agenda. Here's a cross-section of a sampling of the testy exchanges between Donald Trump and Terry Moran of ABC News.
145% tariffs on China, and that's good. Basically an embargo. They deserve it. It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat
mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs. If people come into our country illegally, there's a different standard. These are illegal. They came in illegally.
But they get due process.
Well, they get a process where we have to get them out. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the Venezuelans.
They get whatever my lawyers say.
You think Vladimir Putin wants peace?
I think he does, yes.
Do you trust him?
I don't trust you. I don't trust a lot of people. I don't trust you. Look at you. You come in all shooting for bear. You're so happy to do the interview. And then you start hitting me with fake questions. You'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in...
I don't have 100% confidence in anything. It's a stupid question. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
There you go. That's how it went. That's how it went. You want to end with Trump? You know, you better be, don't. It's good to be the king. Don't go against the king. At one point, Terry Moran asked Donald Trump about the reputation of the United States of America. And the intent of the question is, of course, you've damaged the reputation of the United States of America in a mere 14 weeks in office. Trump not having it.
Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across the stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you.
And Terry Moran said, thank you. Was Terry Moran in Animal House? It was almost like he said, thank you, sir. May I have another? Yes, you may have another. Here is Terry Moran making a statement that Trump catches him on the inaccuracy of. And then Terry Moran tries to lie and say, that was a question. No, it wasn't a question. It was a statement, an incorrect one, according to Donald Trump.
A legal note fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department at any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals?
How do you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally are. There's been no investigation from the
How do
Justice
you know
Department.
that?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not
Now I'm asking you.
That was a statement that you made. There have
Now I'm
been.
asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
So there have been referrals for fraud from the
Of course
workers.
there have been. Take a look at some of these things that took place. Billions of dollars were given to people for no reason whatsoever. Of course they have been.
I'm going to make a statement, and then when you catch me on the fact that there's wiggle room, inaccuracies, disputes about my statement, then I'm going to say, no, I asked a question. Trump loves this. You can tell. He loves it. He loves making them look bad. Now, here he is on the previous stop at a National Guard base where he announced that he's going to be building 21 fighter jets in the state of Michigan. And he brings up Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
I want to thank Governor Gretchen Whitmer for bringing it also to our attention very strongly. And, I'm not supposed to do that. She's a Democrat. They say, don't do that. Don't have her here. I said, no, she's going to be here.
Yeah, she's not only going to be there, he's going to call her up on stage, and he's going to force her to talk.
Well, I hadn't planned to speak, but on behalf of all the military men and women who serve our country and serve so honorably on behalf of the state of Michigan. I am really damn happy we're here to celebrate.
Yeah, not happy. She's going to get called out by the Dems for that. Watch. Wait for it. It'll happen.
Skies today, passing shower by afternoon. High today 74. Partly cloudy, mild tonight. A thunderstorm late, low 60. Sunny clouds, a shower and a heavy thunderstorm for tomorrow. Breezy warm day. That thunderstorm could bring some downpours, hail and damaging wind. High 81. Variable cloudiness, couple of brief showers Friday. High Friday at 73. Cloudy cooler, couple of showers for Saturday. High Saturday afternoon at 62. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors. Ross Realtors will sell your home. It won't be listed long. Low listing fees, put your mind at ease. Tell me, how could you go wrong? Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors.
Are you thinking about selling your house and need help getting it ready? Hi, this is Ross DiGiorgio of Ross Realtors. I will buy your house for cash. What? That's right, I'll buy your house for cash, as is and where is. That means no inspections, no financing. Take what you want and leave the rest. Call Ross Realtors 614-599-6100. So don't worry about all those people calling you asking if you want to sell your house or all those postcards you receive in the mail. Call Ross Realtors 614-599-6100. That's 614-599-6100. Cash for your home.
Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready to take the next step, Google Salem Surround Columbus right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
You can hear this today at PragerTopia.com.
The subject today is reading women's minds. Here's the question. Is that true? And women, you have to be honest on this. Would you like your man to be able to know what you want, what you're thinking, how you're feeling, without you spelling it out?
Hear the entire episode. It's for Pragertopia members only. Go to Pragertopia.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Brandon Schreiner from Revive Chiropractic.
Hi.
Did you know that many chronic headaches aren't actually originating in your head? They're often caused by tension and misalignment in your neck and upper back. I recently worked with a patient who suffered from migraines for over 15 years. She tried every medication her doctor prescribed, but nothing provided lasting relief. After just 3 targeted adjustments focused on her cervical spine, her headache frequency dropped by 80%. This isn't unusual. Research shows that chiropractic care can significantly reduce the intensity and frequency of many types of headaches, including migraines and tension headaches. If you're tired of living with headache pain or depending on medications that only mask symptoms, I'd like to help. For a limited time, I'm offering new patients a comprehensive exam, necessary x-rays, and first adjustment for just $49. Call me directly at 614-781-8808. I understand what you're going through, and I'm committed to helping you find real, lasting relief at Revive Chiropractic.
Spring is in the air, and so is
Seven
relaxation.
justices.
At Rainbow Hot Tubs, Swim Spas, and Saunas, their huge spring sale is here to melt your stress away. Picture this: warm, bubbling water, peaceful evenings, and your very own backyard oasis. Whether you're looking to unwind in a luxury hot tub, stay fit in a swim spa, or detox in a soothing sauna, now is the time. Save thousands during their biggest sale of the season. Visit Rainbow Hot Tubs today, where comfort meets quality and the deals are just as hot as the tubs. 6333 Bush Boulevard or online at rainbowhottubs.com. Rainbow Hot Tubs. Relaxation starts here.
MyPillow.com, excited to announce the extension of their Mega Sale 2.0. You can save $40 on the new spring MyPillow bed sheets in any size or color. Save 30% on the Mike Crosses. Designing the likeness that you see Mike sport on TV every single time he does an interview or a commercial. Now, ladies, don't be jealous. I know that cross is awfully large for your delicate frame, but they make a female version as well, just as beautiful. All made in the USA, 30% off. Get a 6-piece bath towel set for only $39.98. These quantities are low. Quality is high. Quantity is low. Best-selling standard MyPillow. Well, you plug in my promo code and you'll be shocked at the price. Let me just give you a little hint. It is well under $20. So take advantage of the MyPillow Mega Sale 2.0. Use my promo code Bruce for the lowest pricing ever. And, oh, yeah, free shipping on orders of $75 or more. Look at that. I buried the lead. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce. Well, we got a favorable ruling yesterday from the Ohio Supreme Court, but not as favorable as it should be. It turns out that not only do we have a squishy governor, Mike DeWine, who, remember, infamously vetoed the SAFE Act. The SAFE Act was House Bill 68, the SAFE Act, spearheaded by Gary Click and Jenna Powell, is the legislative endeavor that outlawed transgender surgeries, puberty blockers, and boys playing girls sports. Thankfully, that nonsense ended with the passage of that bill by our supermajorities in the Senate and in the House. We had to have supermajorities because Governor DeWine, aforementioned as a squish, vetoed the bill. He vetoed the bill, Mike DeWine. Mike DeWine, who has presumably somewhere around half of them female, would not step up, would not stand up for women. But his veto was overridden and it became law. And then, of course, the ACLU beefed about it and they went to court and they got it delayed for a while on the grounds that you can't do two things in one law. And they said that, banning puberty blockers and surgeries and then also boys and girls sports, they wanted to hamstring the law on a technicality. And they did for a while, but then lunatic, and he is a lunatic, very bad judge, Michael Holbrook. I sounded almost like Trump there, didn't I? Lunatic, very bad judge. Anyway, Michael Holbrook shockingly said, no, the law's fine, you can do it. Well, the ACLU wouldn't give up. And they went to a district court. Of course they did, because what do we know about district court judges? We know that they hate Trump. We know that they hate something else that starts with T. They hate truth. A lot of them do. And so they issued a temporary injunction. So for the last couple months, we've been able to mutilate kids in Ohio. And we've been able to mess up their DNA forever with puberty blockers. But back to how I started this segment. We got a favorable ruling from the Ohio Supreme Court yesterday that stops, gets rid of the temporary restraining order on this law. But again, the ruling was not near what it should be. The Ohio Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, has 7 justices on it. 6 of them are a Republican. Only Jennifer Brunner is a Democrat. I expected her to vote against this. I did not expect Justice Pat Fisher nor Chief Justice Sharon Kennedy to vote against this, but they did. Nevertheless, sanity prevailed. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost wants to be governor. This is a feather in his cap. But now this apparently will, it's not the final rendering on it. They still have some legal wrangling to do over it. But for the moment, no more puberty blockers, no more sexual mutilation surgeries. The ACLU will not give up, even though, I say, wait a minute, didn't Donald Trump end this nonsense with an executive order? Well, you would be right. In January, among the many things Trump has done so far that's been really, really good, he signed the Protecting Children from Chemical and Surgical Mutilation Executive Order, which would prevent the transition, what a stupid word, of a child from one sex to another. See, just harboring or voicing the very idea that that's possible gives it 1,000% more credibility than it should ever have. And again, Trump has been stalwart on this. I was a little worried about some of the things he said. He appeared to be a little indecisive on it, but thankfully, I think people like Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, Riley Gaines, and others have gotten Trump's attention on this issue and have shown him that there's a right side and a wrong side, and the Democrats are on the wrong side of it. Why are the Democrats on the wrong side of this? You know why. What do the Democrats love? I know money, but what else? Power. Yes, power. And in order to get political power, you need what? That's right, you need votes. And it's really easy to get votes if there are a huge collection of votes in one particular demographic. And if you can craft your policies, whether they're sensible or whether they're barbaric, to capture that entire voting block, well then, so much the better. Does it really serve the voter? What does a Democrat care? The question they ask is, what policy should I take that will do me the best? Let me wet my finger and hold it up. Ah, I see an LGBTQ RSTUV lobby out there. And if I say that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, I can get pretty much that entire lobby to go with me and vote me into office. What do I care if they ruin their bodies, ruin their lives? What do I care if their suicide rate is 14 times higher than the national average? I'll just pawn that off and say, well, that's because everybody treats them so cruelly, not because they're living at odds with who God created them to be. So this is why Democrats take the position that they take on a lot of things. And it's why they lost the last election, because some of the other voting blocks that they were counting on, like African Americans, Hispanics, working class people in manufacturing, they lost segments of that voting block. Well, they're not going to do anything to offend the crazy, lunatic, purple-haired, bone-in-the-nose people who are part of the LGBTQ movement. And thankfully, we have enough of a majority on the Ohio Supreme Court that we can withstand a couple people who ruled incorrectly, like Pat Fisher and Sharon Kennedy. We've got people on the Supreme Court who are supposed to be Republican who don't vote conservatively enough either. John Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, and even occasionally Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. Here's Josh Holmes, host of the Ruthless podcast, noting that Trump's stance on these issues is one of the number of things that he's done in his first 100 days that deserves the praise of conservatives.
I mean, he's had massive accomplishments, some of which I feel like are understated. Securing the border after the last 4 years of the Biden administration is no easy task. And the fact that he's done it so quickly is incredible. And that work obviously continues. I also think what he's talking about with the sort of woke agenda, there's been sort of a mentality shift just by virtue of him becoming president and instituting some of these things, where you've got an entire institutional capture that happened by the left in this sort of DEI world that has been restored to sanity. And I think that those big cultural shifts are huge pieces of what he's accomplished. Obviously, the economic report card is still a work in progress.
Yeah, it is a work in progress. The GDP numbers today were not ideal. They were down 0.3%. That's like way, way, way less than people were predicting. Oh, there were all these dire predictions. Economic policies take a while to shake out. You're hearing all the predictions of massive shortages at the stores and shipping has gone to nothing. Maybe it will. I don't know. I'm not a shipping expert. I'm not an economic expert. But I'm willing to give Donald Trump time. Why would he intentionally tank the economy? Was the economy pretty good the first time before they invented and magnified COVID? Yeah, pretty good. He would have won a second term. They didn't want him to win a second term. And so they scared us all to death, and they kept Joe Biden hidden in the basement, concealed his infirmity, fiddled around with election laws, got him elected. Now Trump is back. They never thought that was happening.
This is Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
Find us at 989theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1 for Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. At a Michigan rally, President Trump says his administration has achieved the most secure border in American history.
The number of illegal border crossers released into the United States is down. Listen to this, please. 99.999%.
And the president has announced new fighter jets for an Air National Guard base in Michigan. White House correspondent Greg Clugston with that report. Before holding a rally marking 100 days in office, the president stopped by Michigan's Selfridge Air National Guard base with this announcement.
Very soon we will replace the retiring A-10 Warthogs with 21 brand new F-15EX Eagle II fighter jets, the best in the world.
The announcement allayed fears that the base could close, and it delivered a win for Michigan's Democratic Governor, Gretchen Whitmer. Greg Clugston, Washington. Also at townhall.com, the U.S. economy shrank 0.3% from January through March, the first drop in 3 years. The January-March expansion was the slowest in almost 3 years and was down from 2.4% in the last 3 months of 2024. Imports shaved 5 percentage points off first quarter growth. Consumer spending also slowed sharply. Iran says the next round of negotiations over its nuclear program it will have with the United States will be in Rome on Saturday. The Iranian foreign minister said that Iran is also anticipated having a meeting Friday with France, Germany, and the United Kingdom to discuss those talks. The talks with the U.S. again will be mediated by Oman, which has hosted 2 rounds of talks. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 2.
All right, got to end the live stream.
Losing
Appreciate you guys watching.
This is
I've got another hour of the show to go. Be back on the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page. Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page, not my personal Facebook pages, and on the 989 The Answer Facebook page. All right. Have a great day. Enjoy the middle of your week, and we'll see you tomorrow.